Hey guys, Xlice here. It's time for Sigrika S0 to S6. Full guide on main channel as usual. Now, I am fully aware that Sigrika is less popular than most characters, especially with the new ones already kinda dripped, but I'm still curious just what you can do. This video will be done on media server in TOA like usual, with the same stats as in the guide that you see here. We are mainly going to do one rotation showcases here. If you want to see full clears, check out the guide. To keep things simple, we're going to use just one team as well. Are super comfortable in standard SK, Chilyuan, and Sigrika comp. So really quickly, my editor is going to pull up the quick reference of S0 damage from the main channel guide. The damage is exceptionally good in comparison to other meta comps like Amith and Luke, but this is Sigrika's strongest performance. Amy and Luke can still improve with better supports, so let that be in mind. Now, first up, S1. So this is going to increase the damage multipliers of her green skills, and she also becomes immune to interruption while casting those green skills. Encapsulated, which is the stagger on her outro, also gets increased a little bit. So this one's just going to be some minor chip damage. Let's go see how it performs. All right, so we got the standard comp here. I'm going to start off with Shorekeeper setup here. It's going to be pretty identical for all the sentry stuff. Gonna make sure to get the parry here. Then we're gonna echo an ult. So we're gonna watch for make sure that she has max passive stacks. Okay, so Chilyuan's ulting. Then we got the full forte bar consumption. You guys can see Sigrika's bar flowing up, and then EQ and then swap out. So you guys can see I just used her echo here, and also her passive is yellow and lit up. This means that she has 60 passive. Every single time she uses the green skill, she's gonna use 30 and give herself an innate gift buff, which is like the damage amp stuff. So let's see the damage here. This is all chip damage right now, but ult is the first thing that we care about. 291k. And then this is a little bit more. We did 133k plus 400k. You guys can see at that tippy top of him, 400,000 damage. So we're doing a little bit more with this extra chip damage.
Oh. From the
ending with Shorekeeper's intro here, you can see it's about, what, 66% of the boss HP, so slightly more than S0. Nothing too crazy though. Okay, on to S2. So this one is going to be the fat one, right? The damage multiplier of our Forte circuit, this is her big skill nuke, is increased by 120%. That's 2.2x final damage, which is pretty fat. She's already doing 133 plus 400k, so we expect this damage to at least double, maybe a little bit more on top of that. Now, she also does get the divergent buff, which is usually from her ultimate. But when I tested this out, it's a little bit finicky. I wasn't able to do it. Usually, if you have this and you have both conversion and divergent without using her ult, you want to use her ult last in the rotation after her Forte bar is full, because then you'll get innate gift stacks both. But as you guys will see, I'm still going to ult in the middle because I wasn't able to do it properly for some reason. That means that the innate gift buff is not going to be fully stacked for just her ultimate. So just know that she still could do a little bit more damage if you figure out what's going on. All right, so let's pull up S2 here. So since we're only getting big Forte circuit damage increase, the rest of her damage doesn't really change that much. So we're setting up standard here. You guys can see the rotation is the exact same each time. Chilyuan's going crazy as usual. Get that ultimate up, and then do his full Forte bar, and then EQ, and then swap. Alright, so same thing. Sigrika here, gonna make sure to echo so we get full passive. Alright, first little chip damage here, then ultimate. So, 291k, like I said, it's the same stuff. Now, full Forte. Here we go. Damage is... Damn! You see that shit? Bro, that's S2, man. It's kind of crazy. So the first bit was 293,000 damage, and then you can barely see it, but it's 850k. So she did get a more than double boost here. Now we're going to finish off here, Tune Break, and then Shorekeeper outro. And we're going to see where the boss HP ends up at.
From the heart.
So it's pretty good, right? You guys can see it's about 80 to 85% boss HP. So this is definitely the major threshold to build for. Like I said, man, she does a lot of damage. You do need Chilyuan, but yeah. If you guys can figure it out on how she's actually getting her divergent bonus buff from S2, then we can figure out if she can ult later into the cycle. Because as you guys saw there, I'm ulting after half Forte bar, which is less damage amp than if I were to go to full Forte bar. So just like, let that be known for a little bit. We do want a max damage if we can. Let me check really quick, by the way, just to make sure I am not giving misinformation. All right, I lied. Never mind, doesn't really matter. You can ult regardless. Okay, just forget what I just said. I'm gonna show you guys right now. Just clarifying for myself, because sometimes I do skim through this a little bit too fast, but the 30% damage amp is only for her enhanced abilities and her big skill nuke, not her ultimate. So doing ultimate in the middle is going to still be perfectly fine. That's good. All right, S3. So S3 is where things get a little bit funky. We'll talk about this afterwards. Innate Gift, which is her passive bonus buff, which gives 30% amp, stacks up to 4 times. It's no longer removed after she casts her outro skill. So the problem with this is the first rotation is still gonna do the same damage here. I'll show you guys in a second. What actually gets bonus is her second rotation onwards. Things don't really live that long, I'm gonna be honest. But in the end state matrix, this will actually be beneficial. So this is more catered to like the Giga endgame, not necessarily in TOA. Let me just show you real quick. All right, so here's a quick playthrough. This is S3. You guys gonna notice the damage is literally the same. Again, end state matrix is probably gonna be the best testing ground. But since this is how I do S0 to S6 showcase, I'm just looking for the pure damage scaling just to see how strong she really gets. Just know that she kind of does a lot of damage, guys. She really does. She's not a shabby carry at all. All right, getting ready here. First off, ultimate. Again, like I said, it's gonna be the same. 291k. And then skill nuke is boom. So 850k. Same thing. Literally the same thing, guys. Same damage. And the boss's HP is just about the same as well. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna keep going, but at the end of the day, like the boss is gonna die before I really can do anything more with Sigrika.
Your life is mine to take. Behold this blade. My move is the blade.
Alright, so you guys can see she's on field, and look at how much HP the boss has. We can't even ult. Right? Like, that's what I'm saying. Her chip damage is now strong enough that it does like that initial 15%, and we can't even see her ult getting a more damage amp. So again, we need a little bit thicker skinned bosses. That's fine. All I know is that she does good damage, and S3 increases it more later down the line, which is going to be important for that endgame content. Okay, so S4 is 20% attack. It's going to affect everyone. So you're going to see Chillion's damage increasing a little bit here. S5 is what we're going to skip to because S4 is just damage increase. Yeah, S5 is ultimate is 30% final damage, which gets a little bit stronger. All right, so here we go. SK. Typical setup like usual. You guys are going to see a little bit of more damage increases here.
In war with
So you're gonna see Chillion's ultimate doing a little bit more, which is kind of nice. You know, these S4s do stack up over time though, as you get more of them. Like this is how they scale damage even harder. You guys saw there his ultimate is like 80k. Alright, switching to Sigrika, let's see her damage increase. Ultimate's what we're looking at first. Alright, so ultimate's coming here. We are doing 404,000. So that's a pretty big boost, guys. It's a pretty big boost. We went from 291k to a 404k ult, which makes perfectly sense, by the way. That's almost nearly exactly 30% plus a little bit of an attack boost. Alright, and then her final skill nuke is also going to do a little bit more. How much is it? It's 300 to 912k. So we are getting a little bit of the bonus. That's just 20% attack there, giving about a 6% DPS increase to that stuff, which is helpful. It is helpful. All right, so ending with an outro skill here, we are almost dead. It's like 90 to 95% HP, but yeah, he's basically gonna die. Okay, so final little bit, guys. Final little bit. S6. So targets take 30% more damage from Sigrika. This one, I know now, is also a final damage multiplier. So it's basically, this is 1.3 times more damage for all sources. All right, so on top of the scalings from this, which is 2.2x, right, and this, which is 30% more, this is another separate multiplier that further increases their damage. So this is actually crazy. Okay, so Innate Gift. This is gonna matter for her green enhanced damage and her skill nuke. She's getting 15% more damage amp, up to 60% at 4 stacks. Also ignore defense. So again, like I said, you guys are gonna see a fuck ton of damage here. It's actually gonna be a lot, but it's not even her cap. On her second rotation, she will still do more. So let's check it out. Okay, so let's check it out. Now the thing is, the boss does live, but it will be very, very fat overkill damage.
I engraft you new.
What sleeps within bamboo.
Alright, so first Chillion's ultimate damage is dealing. Didn't crit, it's fine. Happens, you know, happens to the best of us. Alright, Sigrika's turn. So her chip damage, let's see. That's pretty good. Doing 100k there. Ultimate is dealing 526k, so a little bit stronger there, about 30%, which makes sense. But now, here we go. Ready? Skill nuke! What do you think? Isn't that kind of crazy? Like, I'm not even showing you the big number. 480,000 when the previous one was 300k. And then... Damn! You see that shit, bro? That's crazy. 1.44 million skill nuke without max innate gift. If you were an end state matrix and you did 2 full rotations, I can see her ult going from 526k to 575k. Oh wait, I lied. Innate gift does not affect her ult. I need to stop saying that. Okay, so her ult's gonna stay the same at 526k, but her skill nuke is probably gonna do 20% more damage at least, because we get 60% more amp and about 50% ignore defense. Since we have diminishing returns, it's probably 20%. It could be more though. It could be more. But I would expect this to be 550k to 1.7 million damage later. So yeah, pretty juiced, guys. Pretty juiced. All right, pretty juiced. So what are we thinking, guys? I think our secret nodes are pretty good. S1, this one low-key is not that useful, just immunity interruption, which is fine. S2 is where things really start to matter. Still not really sure about this second part. I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but totally fine. S3, here's my personal take on it. I understand why they would do it, so she's not like insanely one-tap powerful, but I do feel like it's kind of awkward, right? I do feel like it's kind of awkward because S6 damage is supposed to be kind of like screen wipe level damage, and this is ramping, which kind of feels a little awkward. Just my take. I would have preferred, well, I guess it's kind of weird because you can't really put S6 on S2, so I see why they wanted to put ignore defense and all this shit. I can see why. It's just like for me, the fact that like it takes a full, I would say 50 seconds for her to get max damage, considering when you do E6 you want to just fucking explode the screen anyway. Feels a little bit counterintuitive. Maybe I would have preferred it still being like 2 stacks. Or you know what? You know what would have been cool? Maybe it would have been cool for her to generate stacks twice as fast on S6. I don't know, man. I'm not really convinced about the 4-stack innate gift. I feel like it's a little bit slow, but that's just me. You guys could totally feel free to agree, disagree. It's just how I feel when it comes to S6 characters. I usually feel S6 characters, you are finishing that fight in 30 seconds. That is what we're doing. But maybe we are catering more towards a situation where end state matrix, we're going to do extended like 3-minute fights. If that's the case, then I see this having value, because after 1 minute, she's going to be exceptionally strong. She's going to just continue to screen wipe. So yeah. Anyways, if you've got Chill Yuan and Shorekeeper and you're willing to invest vertically in Sigrika and you don't really care about Tomb Breaker mechanics, the breakpoints that matter, in my opinion, are going to be S2 for sure, and then S6. This video is not financial advice, of course, so spend responsibly. Thank you guys for watching. As always, like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Let me know in the comments what you think of her. And yeah, we'll be bracing for impact for the future WUWA characters. Take care.